Hi and welcome everyone to another video. My name is Dennis and today I'm going to show you a free draft for Gaming 17 of Fantasy Premier League. So let's just jump straight into it. Alright guys, so as I said before, today I'm going to show you a free draft for Gaming 17 of Fantasy Premier League. Now hopefully this video is going to be interested even if you're not going to use your free, but for anybody using the actual chip, this gaming, hopefully this video is going to help you out a little bit. Now before talking about the players I want to look a little bit at the fixture. So if you want to just skip to the part when I'm talking about my FPL free draft for Gaming 17, feel free to do it. But I just want to show you this graph, which I think that is going to be a little bit helpful for you if you're using the chip or even if you're not using the chip in Gaming 17, right? Now, I want to take a look at the fixtures and these are some projections, obviously for projected goals, clean sheet odds, so you don't need to take all this information. You don't need to be forced to pick these players just because of these projections, but I think that talking about a fixture like Manchester City are going to have against West Ham at home, it is a no-brainer why a lot of people are going to want to have triple Manchester City in this fixture. As you can see, they are predicted to score the most goals in this gaming. Bournemouth also against Burnley at home, it is a no-brainer to pick some players from Bournemouth, and also it is a nice chance to go with Burma players because probably a lot of people don't have a lot of them, considering that the fixtures long term for Bournemouth are not amazing, but this is the last good fixture for Burnley for a long period of time. So I think that you should take the chances and get some players from Burnley, from Bournemouth, sorry. Brighton are going to play against Sunderland at home, so definitely a decent fixture. Liverpool against Spurs and Arsenal against Everton. So I think that free hitting in Gaming 17 is going to be much more easier than my free team in Gaming 16. I think that you don't have so many options to pick from, and I just think that you have really decent fixtures. As you can see, if we're talking about the clean sheet odds, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Manchester City, Brighton, Brentford maybe. So pretty much that's it. Pretty much these are the teams you want to target some defenders on your free. So enough with the fixtures. Let's talk about my actual free draft for Gaming 17. As I said before, I think that triple Manchester City is a must, is a no-brainer, whatever you want to call it. You need to have triplets for Manchester City. This is a must. Now, if you want to go for triple Man City attack, that's totally up to you. If you want to go for a defender which is going to be really popular, I suppose I would go for someone like Nico O'Reilly. So again, if you want to go for O'Reilly, Foden, Haaland, that's perfectly fine. Or if you want to go really to take this free to try to catch the upside, try to go for three attackers from Manchester City, because as we saw before, they are predicted to score the most goals against West Ham at home. So I just think that it is a nice opportunity to go with three attacking players from Manchester City, because you're not going to have three attackers from Manchester City every day. So Foden and Haaland are a must for me. From my point of view, they are in great form, so I don't need to justify my picks. Haaland obviously is going to be your captain probably against West Ham at home. And then if you want to add another attacker from Manchester City, probably has to be Cherky at this point, because the latest news is that Doku is injured. Now, with a player like Cherky, obviously talking about midfielders from Manchester City, they could be rotated. Maybe he's not going to play 90 minutes or something like that. And again, it is a risk, but probably it's a risk I would take, especially on a free. The fixture is just too good to turn down. And again, although I think that Nico O'Reilly is a great option also in defense, I think that Cherky has the more is the most upside pick. So I would go with these three players from Manchester City. Talking about Bournemouth, as I said before, they are playing against Burnley at home, so probably one of the best fixtures you can have all season. Definitely, again, I think that you should triple up with Bournemouth. Now, again, you don't need to listen to my advices. If you don't want to go triple Bournemouth against Burnley, that's perfectly fine. But I just think that this is such a nice opportunity. As I said before, a lot of people are going to be put off to buy Semenyo because he's on 4 yellow cards, and nobody pretty much is going to have two defenders from Bournemouth. They have really good odds to keep a clean sheet. I think that this is one of the best fixtures, as I said before. And I would go probably with Senesi and Trafford in defense. Again, if you want to go for double Bournemouth attack, that's also perfectly fine. If you want to go for someone like Ivan Nilsson, if you have the budget to do that, that's also perfectly fine. Now, as you can see, I have 0.9 millions with this draft, so I could make some changes. I could have someone like Ivan Nilsson probably instead of Thiago, and that's also perfectly fine. But I just think that the odds for a clean sheet are really good, and someone like Trafford is also a real attacking defender, so I would go probably for these two from Bournemouth. So this would be my triple up. So you have 6 players pretty much locked in onto your fleet. And another fixture I would target would be Arsenal. Now, again, I know that Arsenal conceded against Wolverhampton, which is probably the worst team in the Premier League at the moment, but they are still the best defense in the Premier League. And I think that this is still a good fixture for Arsenal because, for an example, Everton are going to miss a lot of players. Grealish, I think that he's injured. We need to see the extent of that injury. Obviously, Njay is going to go to the AFCON, and he was one of the main player for Everton. Dewsbury Hall is injured. We need to see how many games he's going to miss. So Idrissa Gana Gueye also is going to miss. They have a lot of injuries at the moment. They have a lot of problems at the moment, and I still think that Arsenal have a really good chance of keeping a clean sheet against Everton away. So for all those reasons, I think that I would still go for double Arsenal defense. Now, again, if you want to go for an attacker from Arsenal, if you want to go for 2 attackers from Arsenal, Rice is okay, but he's just not my pick on a free, I think. And if you want to go for Eze, we saw what happened in Game Week 16. If some people gone for Eze on their free, he was subbed off before 60 minutes. So it is a little bit too risky, I think. And Everton away is also not an amazing fixture, talking about where you want to target obviously a lot of attackers. So I would go still for Bukayo Saka because for what we know, he's still on penalties. His minutes are going to be still okay. Arsenal are going to have a rest until they're going to play against Everton. So probably Saka, I think that he's going to start and he's going to get decent minutes. And with the double up in defense, you don't need to go for Raya Calafiori. Now, I have Raya in my normal team, so it's really easy for me to just go for Raya. But again, if you want to go for 2 outfield defenders from Arsenal, that's also a possibility, and you can just go for Petrovic or another goalkeeper in goal. Calafiori, I think that I would go for him because he has some attacking threat. He's some kind of a differential on a free. That's why I like him. He was suspended in Game Week 16, so he didn't play. So I'm expecting him to start. And yeah, the fixture is great against Everton away. Now, what we saw in Game Week 16, a lot of outfield defenders from Arsenal were rotated. I had Lewis Kelly and Ben White in my team, so you can imagine my frustration with those picks. And again, on a free, I agree you should try to go. Now, obviously, someone like Ben White is injured, so you're not going to go for him. If you want to go for Timber, that's perfectly fine. Lewis Kelly, probably I wouldn't now that Calafiori is back. And then you have Saliba and Hincapie. Now, I think that Calafiori is a little bit more, a more interesting pick than Hincapie and Saliba. So this is my triple up from Arsenal. So we have 9 players already. And then you just need to pick with the vibes, whichever player you feel like you want to go. Thiago, again, for me, the fixture is great. I know that he was really rubbish in the last few game weeks because Brentford obviously didn't get a lot of penalties, but his ownership is huge. So again, if you want to go against Thiago, I think that this is a good opportunity, but you just need to be prepared because if Thiago is going to do something against Wolverhampton away, that's going to hurt your rank a little bit. So probably I would go for Thiago. And then Bruno Fernandes, back-to-back holes for Bruno Fernandes. I think that this fixture against Aston Villa away is not amazing for Man United, not amazing for Bruno Fernandes. Probably he's going to get defensive contributions in this fixture. He's on penalties, he's on some set pieces, so he's just a nice option. And if we look at other midfielders, you could include on your free. If you want to go for someone like Cunha, perfectly fine. I think that he has more chances to score, obviously, than someone like Bruno Fernandes, but still. Um, Other than that, Rice, as I said before, Semenyo, we have him. Palmer, I wouldn't go for Palmer probably against Newcastle away. I think that's not a great fixture. Trossard, Soboslai, Liverpool are playing against Tottenham away. So we're going to talk also a little bit about Liverpool because you could go for some players from Liverpool if you want to. Kudus is playing against Liverpool. Rogers is playing against Man United at home. Wirtz is playing against Tottenham away. Is he a better pick than Bruno Fernandes? Probably not. So yeah, again, someone like Shade could be okay if you want to go for someone like Shade, someone like Harry Wilson. But again, Bruno Fernandes, I just think that he's a nice option. We saw in the last 2 game weeks that he's a really reliable option. Now, is he going to score double-digit holes every game week? Probably not. So again, if you don't want to include Bruno Fernandes, I think that's fine because the fixture is just not amazing. But if you look at other options, there aren't a lot of good options. Now, if we look, let's take a look at the forwards. If you want to go against someone like Thiago, Bowen is playing against Man City, Richarlison against Liverpool, Raul Jimenez, fair enough, he could be a decent option against Nottingham Forest at home, but is he better than Thiago? Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Uh, Ekitike could be an option, but Tottenham away, again, is it the best fixture to target Ekitike? And also, if you want to go for Ekitike, you need to make some downgrades elsewhere. So that's also what you need to do. Watkins against Man United, Voldemort against Chelsea, uh, Evan Nilsson is against Burnley. So fair enough. If you want to go for someone like Evan Nilsson, and then I don't know, just go for someone like Collins in defense, that's also perfectly fine. I don't mind it at all. Or if you want to go for Hincapie and Kelleher in goal, that's also perfectly fine. I have 0.2 million in the bank to do that. Now if we go back to my team, for example, if you want to go for someone like Ekitike, let's say, because again, I think that the free hit in Game Week 17 it's much more easier than the free hitting how the free hit was in Game Week 16. The picks pretty much picks themselves. You have some nice differential. You have obviously Foden, Haaland, who a lot of people are going to own, but you have also Cherky. You're going to have a triple up on Bournemouth, which a lot of people are not going to have. You're going to have a triple up on Arsenal, to one of the last good fixtures for Arsenal, because again, a lot of people probably already shipped out a lot of Arsenal players. So Everton away is still a nice fixture. Then the fixtures are getting a little bit tougher for Arsenal. So this is a nice chance to go still with the triple up for Arsenal. Now, if you want to go for Ekitike, you can make some downgrades. Again, probably I need to find 1 million in the bank, so it's not going to be that easy. I could just go for someone like Kelleher, for an example, in goal, and instead of Trafford, let's say, I'm not sure if I can afford Hincapie. Maybe you can. If you can do that, that's perfectly fine. Hincapie, Calafiori, Kelleher, Trafford, Semenyo, and you also have Ekitike. If not, probably the spot you want to downgrade is going to be Bruno Fernandes. Now, other midfielders, Minte could be nice, but again, which player I'm going to get out of my team to buy Minte? Probably no one. So yeah, this is pretty much how I would line up on a free. Feel free to leave a comment. Please let me know if you're using a chip in the first play this game week. Also, what do you think about my free? What would you change? And again, if you want to check the site also, I think that they have a really nice discount at the moment for Christmas, so make sure to check it. I think that I'm going to pop up something here. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching this video. Consider becoming a member if you want to support the channel even more. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, and I'm going to see you next time. Bye.
Bag gura lor când mă întreabă oamenii de unde sunt le zic de va. Apoi îmi bag gura lor